was feeling a little left out, I'm not gonna lie. I've been seeing so many January favorites, winter favorites, things I love favorites, and I want to join in because I have some good favorites that I think other people may enjoy. So welcome to January, winter, it's technically February favorites. I don't even really know where to start with this video, so we're just gonna go in chronological order of the way that I wrote them down in my notes app. So last year into the beginning of this year, I have been so into physical media. I have a CD player, I have a film camera now, and can you blame me? I just want to touch it, I want to hold it, I want to love my favorite things physically in person. So I've really been investing time into finding the things that I like in the physical format. So we're gonna start out with CDs today. I don't have a CD player, get one. I saw something once about how Spotify went away, you would have no clue what you actually like to listen to, and that terrified me, especially with the way that TikTok was just snatched out of our hands. I don't really want to relive that with my music. So let's do a rundown of some of my favorite CDs. So my first CD that I always have on repeat is Billie Holiday. This specific album is Billie's Blues. I also have the best of Billie Holiday. Fun fact, one time when I was working one of my jobs when I worked at an ice cream store, we were able to control the music luckily, which thank God, because there was days where I was just alone in the ice cream shop. I'm like 20 years old. Why am I in full responsibility of your ice cream shop? And this, granted it was winter, but this ice cream shop was on a busy street. You know how many people could have just stolen all the money and I would have been like, wow, like just take it. I don't need the money, I promise. That place could have been robbed so easily, which is probably why it is out of business now. Hello, it's Editing Megan here. I had some notes to interject throughout this, so you will be seeing me again. Not too much, I promise. So I never ended up finishing the story for some reason, but basically this guy came in when I was working, whenever I was playing Billie Holiday, and he came up to me and he was like, "Who's playing this music? It's really good." And I was like, oh my god, I finally found a soulmate. I didn't, because I was scared as fuck. I didn't talk to a man in probably like a year at this point because we were like deep in COVID at this time. And I was looking dorky as shit. I'll try to find a picture of the outfit that I had to wear at this job, but it was so fucking ridiculous. Safe to say that we did not end up becoming soulmates. But I still love the album. I got this CD at Half Price Books for $3.99. $3.99. This is one of my favorite albums ever. This album has a lot of her popular songs, but it doesn't have all of her most popular songs like Solitude or I'll Be Seeing You, but it does have a bunch of really good ones. It's such a great album for cleaning or just to put you in the mood of a very serene life. I love to read to this album. Billie Holiday, she was an absolute legend. Listen to Billie Holiday if you love jazz, if you love good music. That's all I gotta say to that one. My next one's a more modern album, and it is Inbred by Ethel Cain. This album was gifted to me, and it's also the deluxe album, so it has a bunch of like her other really good songs. If you don't know Ethel Cain, you should get to know her. My top song of last year was Crush. You just want to get, I don't even know what mood it puts you in, but like Ethel Cain is just such a good artist. Even though that she's pretty popular, I still think she's underrated. This next album is For Emma Forever Ago by Bon Iver, or Bon Iver. Bon Iver is for the pretentious people, but I am a little bit pretentious, so I will be saying Bon Iver. This album is old, but ever since I got a CD player, I have been on the hunt for it because I didn't want to order it. I wanted to find this album naturally in the wild, as I do with most of my CDs. My Ethel Cain album and this album were gifted to me, but a lot of my CDs, my goal is to find them naturally in the wild. I don't want to order them on Amazon. I love to go into CD stores, which is like a record store, but they have CDs. But yes, I've been on the hunt for this album forever ago. This album just means a lot to me. It's also very wintry in vibes. I remember being in 7th grade and listening to Restacks and crying my damn heart out. Like, it's gut-wrenching, it's beautiful. Every day I wish that I could see Bon Iver. Oh my god, that was like a mix between the pretentious version of saying it and the regular. I wish so bad to see Bon Iver in concert. He doesn't really perform anymore, but that's okay, maybe one day. He was at a festival near me recently, but he was the only person that I really liked on the lineup, so I couldn't justify spending like $200 for a ticket, which I still, because I'm thinking about it now, I still kind of regret not going to this day. And you know what? When I want to cry, I'll put it on my CD player and I will cry. All right, we'll admit it. One of my favorites for 2025 is crying in my bed, okay? I'm not ashamed of it. My next one, which is also physical media in some sense, is my Rolleicord. This is a film camera that is old as dirt. I absolutely love my Rolleicord, but a tip I would say is if you're going to get a film camera that isn't so old that you can't find anything about it online. I've been able to find nothing about how to load it, how to take care of it. Next editor's note here. So my roller cord, it's not that I can't find the camera online. I have been able to find the roller cord online, but not my specific camera. And with film cameras, you have to be pretty particular about what you're doing with them. And like a lot of the markings on my camera had rubbed off, so I needed to find the exact thing. Luckily, I've been able to figure out how to load it, just piecing together tutorials from other cameras that are similar. But yeah, I've been able to find my exact camera online, which is annoying. When I went to the film developing store to get the film developed, when I went up to the register and I showed them the camera and I was like, any tips on how to like help me use it? And they brought out the guy that apparently knows 120 format, which is what the film shoots. And he was like, like, I don't know. And I was like, really cool. Oh no, that's awesome. That's awesome. No, like I didn't want to know how to use it anyways. But this is very sentimental to me. My uncle got it for me in London. And like I said, I went to a film store, so I was able to get some photos developed. It was our test strand. Film cameras come out so clear. And also using a film camera, it makes you have to be very intentional with what you're shooting, especially with the 120 format, because you only get, I think, 8 to 12 photos per roll as compared to a different film camera where it's more like 30. Basically every photo is worth like $3, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when you're trying to do it multiple times over and over. This camera is just very cool, and I can't wait to capture moments in my life. I'm planning on taking it on a trip. I also want to just do a photo shoot with it. Photo shoot. Basically, I just want to get all my friends together and take gorgeous pictures of them so I can keep them forever. It's also so silly using a film camera. We were shooting with it the other day, and I had this instinct in my brain to be like, oh no, I hope the camera's not dying. That shit doesn't have batteries. Like, it'll never die. So let's get into my clothing favorites because I have a few. I live in Chicago. It's cold as shit. Last night it rained, iced, sleeted, snowed, something. I don't know what the fuck was happening, but I woke up when I went to my car before work. Like I had to beat my scraper on the top of my windshield to break the ice before scraping it off because it was like a thick layer. It was not fun. It took me like 10 minutes and I was late to work. Anyways, it's very cold in Chicago. So my favorites of January and winter in general are some warm items that keep me protected. So the first thing that I think everyone needs who lives in a cold area is a wool sweater. My wool sweater is this very uncomfortable unless you have a shirt underneath it. You need to have a shirt underneath your wool sweater if it's the scratchy type. I've learned the hard way. I have been at work and like itching the shit out of myself. It's not fun. My wool sweater is a fun, almost like a rainbow pattern. It's primarily red. I get complimented on it all the time because it just looks very cozy. It's fun. And I think a good big sweater, this is the epitome of a chunky sweater, works so well with a lot of very casual outfits. Another winter favorite of mine is this headscarf that my sister made for me. She crocheted it. Hi, editor Megan here. This is the headscarf. I don't really know how she made it because I don't know how to crochet, but it's basically like a baklava. Obviously I can't really wear it inside, but it's a great outer piece. I think it's just a little pop of fun for when I'm walking. Even if I'm just going to the gym, I feel a little bit more fashionable and cozy as on my walk because it's good to look fashionable and cozy. This is sort of a fashion thing. I'm gonna include it in this. This might be a hot take. I'm not gonna lie, this may be a hot take. I love not carrying a purse. This may be a little bit selfish of me, but whenever I've been going out recently, I just love to like have my friends or my boyfriend hold my things. I'm like, oh, can you hold my phone and my wallet and my lipstick? Thank you, you're so sweet. It's not that I don't think purses are cute. Maybe I just haven't found my exact purse that I would really love. I do have one purse that my boyfriend got me. It's a nice like sleek black, but it's a little big for going out. Yeah, I don't know if that's maybe a little bit of a selfish take of mine, but then my next fashion one is wearing my Megan necklace. If you didn't know, my name is Megan. My channel doesn't reflect that, but I have this Megan necklace. It's very reminiscent of Carrie's Sex in the City. I think the reason I like wearing this so much is because I don't have a ton of silver jewelry. I'm much more of a gold girl, but I think this Megan necklace is just a cute piece to wear with my more casual outfits. Even though I don't wear a ton of jewelry, I do love fun jewelry. When I wear something, I don't want it to necessarily just like be an element of the outfit. I want it to really pop out. So having a Megan necklace, a lot of my earrings I have like face earring, cowboy hat earrings. I have guillotine earrings that I was wearing in my last video because I think it's just a really fun way to accessorize your outfit, not even with the intention of making your outfit look better really, because people will come up to you and be like, are you wearing guillotine earrings? It's just like a nice like conversation starter. My makeup favorite, which I've talked about in other videos, is wearing eyeshadow. I must say I am still getting used to this. But then in that same vein, like, yes, give me the blue on my eye, give me a sparkle on my eye. Life is too short to not have fun. And I think eyeshadow is a great way to accessorize with that. I do think I want to just get better at eyeshadow. I think I will feel less like an imposter wearing eyeshadow if I get better at it. But I think recently in the lifestyle fashion space, eyeshadow has been fully pushed to the side. Back in 2016, it used to be all about the eyeshadow. Maybe a part of me because I was a teenager in 2016, like I really, you know, it's ingrained in me almost to love a good eyeshadow look. I want to get more into it. I want other people to get more into it just because I think you can use such great colors and like another way to stand out, feel unique. Another physical media that I love obviously is books. I mean, I think this is like a given with most people, but these are two books that I've read recently that I absolutely adore. I've been, in the past like 2 years, I've been so into biographies or like fictional biographies. I don't really know how you would explain it, especially if they're from the 70s, 80s, 90s. I think I just have an infatuation with the era because it's pre-technology in a certain way, and the whole vibe is just smoking cigarettes and listening to rock and roll. Sometimes reading about people's lifestyles where it's like, I was drunk every day for 4 years. I'm like, I don't think I would like that, but something about a lot of these books that I've been reading are just, they're about art and being an artist and living in your art, dying for your art, and I just appreciate that so much. So my first book I have is Do Something by Guy Trebe, I'm not sure. Reading that book along with some of my other ones like Joan Didion and Eve Babbitt, something that I hold near and dear, especially with Do Something by Guy, is his commitment to really telling as much of a whole story as he can. There's so many people in the book that are, I had to look up later, and they would say like widely disregarded. Like people now don't even realize that how much impact the people at this time had on modern culture. And I think it's really important to know where a lot of our pop culture and just culture in general comes from these people that are dead and have been dead for so long and maybe didn't even live a long life, but they had such an impact on the people around them that their ideas have carried a legacy even further than their names have. My next one of a similar vibe is Black Swans by Eve Babbitt. I've also read Sex and Rage by Eve Babbitt. I want to read another Eve Babbitt's book. In Sex and Rage, they're somewhat similar. If you've read either of them, this will be more relevant to you. Sex and Rage is about someone else, but it's about Eve Babbitt. This one is purely, it's a more of a memoir, but it's a short story memoir, so you can read like a section of it, put it down, come back to it a few days later, read another section. And I love books like that. Joan Didion's White Album is also like that. People give that book shit because it's boring. It is not boring. You are just bad at reading. This book to me, even though it may not really seem like it at first, I feel like it's a lot about love for her city, which Eve Babbitt is known to just be absolutely in love with LA and like the California area. But a lot of this book is about her relationships, her romantic relationships that she's in, how they end, how they prosper. One of the stories in this book that I absolutely adore was the one where she goes salsa dancing, I believe. I think it's salsa. And she talks about like getting into it. That's this book makes you want to have a third place so bad. Let me just tell you that right there. Not all the stories about like her being in like a third place, but she goes salsa dancing and she basically like explains without explaining like the tension you have with another person and how romantic it can be, because salsa is so romantic. But she talks a lot about her like chaotic relationships being with like a narcissist and how she also sees her own faults in what she does. One of the stories, she takes LSD when she's going to dinner and then her boyfriend like tells her something deep and she's like whoa, like I ruined that. It's horrible when someone dumps you, especially when he's not your type. It makes more sense in the context. Like, I don't know, like I feel like that is just like My next one I want to talk about is my movies that I've been loving. I do have a very pretentious take on this. Yes, I was a film major in college. And before I get people up in arms about being a film major, let me tell you something in defense of film majors. I am working in film right now. Everyone says you study film, have fun being a barista, which I do work retail part of. I do also have a retail job, but I also have a working for a company film job. Anyways, so I'm gonna tell you my favorite movies. For my movie favorites, because this is my first favorites video, I am just gonna tell you my favorite movies, not necessarily my favorite ones of the past month. If I make another favorites video in the future, I'm definitely gonna focus in on the ones that I've been watching recently. We're gonna start out easy. One of my favorite ones, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind by Charlie Kaufman. Where do I begin with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? I know that this It's a very popular movie, and it is for good reason. It has Kate Winslet, Jim Carrey, the guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks, I forget what his he eats in this movie though. Anyways, so this movie's about a couple who is together. It's like about like their relationship timeline. Essentially, it starts with them both erasing each other from their memory. You probably heard an audio from this movie, which is,
I wish you'd stayed.
I wish I'd stayed too. Now I wish I'd stayed. I wish I'd done a lot of things.
but for me, it's really about two people that are just cosmically drawn to each other. I don't think there's another way to put it. Like, they're not maybe necessarily soulmates or meant to be, but they are brought together over and over again. It's so good. I highly recommend you watch that. Another light one is Singing in the Rain. I literally have a Singing in the Rain poster. This is one of my old head movies. I love a musical. I know Wicked's very popular right now. If you loved Wicked, watch Singing in the Rain. If you have not, it's about a movie star and then a background dancer. It's basically about talking films becoming popular while this actor was primarily in silent films. Music, good as fuck. Acting, good as fuck. The leading lady is Debbie Reynolds, which is Carrie Fisher's mother. Carrie Fisher, Star Wars, Princess Leia. My next movie, which I watched in film school and it's still one of my favorites of all time, and that is City of God, is actually a gangster movie, which sounds a bit different from my previous two being a romance movie and then another romance movie, which is a musical. But City of God is basically about two gangs in Brazil, in like the slums of Brazil, and it focuses on like two kids. Well, it's like about like their path, where it's like how two people can go two separate ways. One goes more down the gangster route, the other goes like not down the gangster route. What I find very interesting about this movie is a lot of the characters in this movie are from the slums of Brazil that they filmed it in. This movie is about relationships, it's about gangs, it's about poverty. It's beautiful, it's a fucking heart-wrenching. Hi, last note here. So basically, The City of God, if you want to watch it, I must warn you, it's very traumatic. There's a lot of violence in it. I would just look it up before you watch it just to make sure that it's something that you can handle. It's such a good movie though. I would recommend watching it if you're up for that. And my other movie is Howl's Moving Castle, Hayao Miyazaki. I'm a Studio Ghibli stan. I ride, I die by Studio Ghibli. I just rewatched Princess Mononoke. Another kind of romantic, I think this is one of Studio Ghibli's most like supernatural, not even supernatural, but very whimsical films. Also one of the most like kind of existential mind warpy films. The new Studio Ghibli film, The Boy and the Heron, I think kind of comes close to Howl's Moving Castle. The Boy and the Heron is much darker, but it has that sort of existentialism to it. I feel like this one has that same like time warpy idea. If you watch this movie in English dub, Howl's voice, Howl is a hot character. Studio Ghibli animation is just so beautiful. Everything is so intentional with all of animation. I am a lover of animation in general, but Studio Ghibli films are so intentional, so beautiful. I think that's all my favorites for right now. This video was so fun. I just got to talk about the things that I like for like 40 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you read, watch, listen to the things that I suggested. And I must say, if you don't have any of the things that you love in a physical form, get at least the ones that you really, really love, because I promise you won't regret it. Even if you've read it a million times, listened to it a million times, like being able to have something in your presence is just, it feels so good.